Alrighty, good morning, neighbors. Good morning, neighbors. Good morning, neighbors. Welcome to those on YouTube and on Facebook. Good morning to you all as well. You stream audio and video, and those on power102fm.com and all other devices. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Full cast in. We've got way far away. We've got Shrek. Yep. AKA Paul Richards. We got Wendell Stephen. We got Richard Raghubarasingh. We've got Ruben, who is watching the sky, wondering if to wash his car with the rain coming because we are under adverse weather alert. My name is Steve Curran. Yep. Keeping you company all the way up till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock this morning. Quickly, let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. San Fernando, nothing to tell you about. After Freeport, you'll get traffic towards Chicagonis, and then from Charlieville, it's slow going towards the interchange. Mirror Road, you've got some traffic approaching there, Piarco, Trinity, UE, and pretty much clear until you get to Swim Call in Port of Spain. Maraval is being built, and same thing in Dago Martin. All right. Quickly, let's check some temps and give you the weather forecast. The Met Office did not update their weather forecast as yet. I'm still seeing. Oh, wait, there it is. It's now updated. It wasn't like that a while ago. The weather for today: fair to partly cloudy at times with some light to moderate showers over broad areas. There's a medium to high chance, 60 to 70%. Some of these showers would become heavy and or thundery nightfall. These conditions would continue. However, expected dramatic improvement as the night progresses. We are under an adverse weather alert. It kicked in at last yesterday and will run, well, it kicked in at midnight, will run till 4 o'clock this afternoon. All right, so we're under adverse weather alert. Currently at Piarco International Airport, I hit the thing and it just decided to reset. 25 degrees at Piarco International Airport. It is 27 degrees at Crown Point in Tobago. It is 16 degrees in Toronto. Miami at 26. Orlando 22. New York, you're sitting at 18. Atlanta, you're at 16. London 18. Tampa 23. Washington 16. And our good friend out in LA, Los Angeles, it is 13 degrees. All right, so there you go. Let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. A lot of people are getting up early and send us hellos. Send us a message by YouTube or Facebook. Let's see. First off the gate, we've got DJ Ray out in Delaware, Renu Halasi. We've got D. Pierre, Garth Celia out of Valencia. What's your weather like, Garth? Oliver Man Warren. It's a new month. Rabbit. Okay, you forgot the last rabbit, but today's the second. That's okay. Miss Ingrid out in Tucson, Arizona. Pauline Buckmeyer, good morning to you out in Florida. Maria Celia, morning to Maria. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning. Huda Wells, Edwin Marshall, Marcia Rock, locked on every morning. Carol Guevara, locked on for years. So is Ms. Maloney. And Karen Yipnow, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you think of the GI Bacchanal this weekend, Steve? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what happened this weekend. Rena Boudou Jennings, good morning to you. Where is the rain? None in Pity Valley for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. All right, let me trade across way far away. I was going to say good morning, Shrek, but I'll say good morning, Paul Richards.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Morning. What's happening?
I don't know why there's an echo, but there's an echo. So.
Okay. Morning, Wendell.
Aquaba. Morning.
Wendell.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going? Am I muted? All right. Nice.
Oh, is that what you're bringing back for us?
That is lovely.
That
is absolutely lovely.
That is.
And nobody in government have connect this time.
True, you can walk around like normal, Paul.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry if you're getting robbed or your watch or your jewelry taken.
No. Let's just say, well, I'm in Ghana, but Africa is not what the Western portrays it to be at all.
Of course,
Well,
for
I
sure. Eh?
It's a highly
well, yeah,
developed,
because
extremely evolved society.
we see when Wendell traveled there last time, and there was a little Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever documentary with one of the actors from Ghana. And then I saw the pictures that you put up, Paul, and I'm saying, wait, this place is absolutely gorgeous.
Hmm.
It is. Eh? As I tell people, there's still the red dirt roads and the decay and thing, but you wouldn't think those people are unhappy. They smile, they
But
do what.
you don't get poverty. You
No,
don't get
no, you don't
abject
get it.
poverty. A lot of people live very simply because that's what they
Yeah.
choose, how they choose to live. But
Yes.
they're not hungry. They're not on the streets, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. They hustle, they do their stuff to make a
Mhm.
living, and they smile through it, and they work very
And
hard through it.
And they work very hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing about Ghana in particular. Well, I've only been to Ghana in terms of Africa. Nothing about that place gives you a sense that these people are unhappy. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Or that is a backward place with jungles and
Yeah,
that
yes,
nobody's
somebody
swinging from trees and vines.
tribes fighting and killing each other with
yeah,
machetes and stuff, which is what the Western world sometimes likes to portray. Nope.
yep,
It-
yep.
I understand why Republic Bank came here now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When you see where the flagship branches and I think there are 12 or 13 other branches across
Yeah.
the place, and I mean the city center is so, I mean, more developed than Port of Spain, quite frankly.
Yeah. By far, eh?
Yeah, by far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's what they're building too.
Yes. A lot of
This
construction taking
massive
place.
marina and
Yeah.
waterfront
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and on the coast. It's like astounding.
Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. I'm happy you have the opportunity to be out there. But
Mhm.
it's really a beautiful place. I want to
It
see
is.
other parts of Africa, but I'm happy that I started with Ghana. I'm happy I started with Ghana because we have so much in common. Yeah,
Well, that's
the
nice.
people
That's
are
nice.
the people are really nice and friendly. Really, really nice people.
Great. How's the
I
food,
don't.
Paul?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really?
I gave you a little hookup in case you wanted to do anything unofficial. Cause no, you're doing a lot of official stuff. So
I prefer to stay away from the unofficial stuff and get into trouble.
if what?
Oh, Jesus.
I stay away from the unofficial stuff.
No, you never know. You never know.
Mhm.
That's somebody very safe, and he is from Accra. You know, and if you when you see him, you'll immediately see him smiling. I don't know, something about people, Ghanaian people, they just smile all the time.
Through everything.
Yeah, they smile all the time. So
So what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago? Budget today.
yes,
Budget
but
today.
mm-hmm.
We wait to see. I know the minimum wage is on the talking blocks.
I think they're going to raise it based on the discussions
I
that could happening.
I think they may raise it to $20 an hour.
I think they're going to raise it about $22.
You
Well,
say 22, I say 20. What says you, Wendell?
Well, the paper says 1950, so it seems
All
like they
right.
settled on that already.
1950. All right, tomorrow we'll tell you guys.
Well,
Please
well,
write
yes.
it down here.
I think
Paul
they're going
says
to go to 22.
$2. Steve says 20.
I think last budget, let me see, where's my budget?
1950. All right.
Last budget, education got the most 7.453 billion, health second 6.892 because we're still coming out of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Social development, national security, sorry, got 5.798 billion. I think national security will either go second or first in this budget for obvious reasons. Although I don't think
Yeah.
you could spend your way out of the problems we have, but they certainly need more investment in technology.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, the maintenance of technology, because while a lot has been allocated to technology in the past, we've not maintained it very well.
No. Maintenance again comes up.
So, I'm Minister in business part I'm thinking this afternoon.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we landed in London Good, man. Doesn't take long to get here, boy. Please. We can have
Yeah.
direct flights. We left
Yeah.
Trinidad at 4 p.m. on Thursday.
Right. British Airways.
Got to London at about 5:45 British time, UK time.
That's it. All right. Okay, that's AM,
Yeah.
right?
Went from Gatwick to Heathrow, which was a 45-hour long drive. It wasn't a bad drive.
Yeah.
And then stayed at Heathrow from about 9 till about 2 p.m.
Oh,
Okay.
geez, and ages.
And then 6 hours to
To Ghana.
Toka International. So we didn't check into the hotel till about 8:30 p.m.
You're staying in Accra, right?
Yeah.
That's a long day for.
It was a 26-hour commute.
Yes, that's how long it is.
So it's now
That's
10
Then it could be
Are
just
you right, Paul?
7 hours from Port of Spain to Accra. And
Yeah,
with
if
a
you got
direct
a direct
flight.
flight from Port of Spain, yeah.
Yes, if we had a direct, I mean. Which is what people have been clamoring for.
But I thought there were talks about that.
Yeah, several times.
Several times, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so budget is on today. As soon as we landed in London and opened my phone to see this horrific story of this 13-year-old girl and uncle murdered.
Yeah.
After hours after doing an ID identification and having made a report to police about her being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And was murdered. And I just say, wow. This is like the fourth child to die under horrible circumstances and the second of the fourth to be murdered.
Yes. In less than 2 weeks.
In less than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I just closed the phone.
Yeah, that story prompted me to post because when I saw it on Facebook, it prompted me to post. Well, clearly, they have to know who these murderers are, because if she would have been reporting a rape 8 o'clock the night with her father, right? 2 o'clock the following morning, she is murdered. She and her uncle and her father is critically injured, right? So she and her uncle are in a wheelchair in a house. They are murdered, and the father is critically injured. As I think I heard that 2 people were arrested for the rape, right? 2 people were a man and a woman.
They were part of the ID parade, I understand.
Right, and she pointed them out, and they were detained for the rape. Now I don't know if that detention came. I'm not sure the sequence of events, but clearly the people who murdered her. The people who are alleged to have, well, not who are alleged, because we don't know who that is yet. Nobody's been charged about a murder. Would also be connected in some way or the other. You would think
that is a presumption that is we have to be careful with.
Yeah. So then, I mean,
most people are thinking there's a connection, but until we have evidence of a connection, and the police says so, we should desist something. So that's the general theory is rolling around everybody's head for obvious reasons, but that's not how the law works.
Well, I heard the commissioner also asking for information concerning this thing for people to come forward.
Yeah, via voice note.
Yeah,
via voice note.
I really don't understand the style of this current commissioner of police. I don't understand it. I told
you, she seems to be afraid of the media. She doesn't really want the accountability that comes with standing up in front of the media. So this one-way communication, which is the most ineffective communication you can have, is not going to work.
Yeah,
you're gonna hide from the media forever.
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna do for your tenure.
Clearly, she's been advised to do that.
And voice notes. You're the voice note commissioner.
Yeah,
it's really so counterproductive.
Yeah,
you are the commissioner of police.
We're not saying come at us every day, but for these, for especially things involving children, to me, certain murders,
Wendell,
need to show your face. You need to come forward.
Not even only when there's bad news.
Yeah.
True.
They've made several breakthroughs also in drug issues in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Yes.
they have.
When she could be branding herself with success stories also. So not only to come and face with bad news. And that's to me, I'm going to use the word stupid thing about the approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't understand.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yes. The
Talking
communication
to the public is not.
Nobody said
talking to the public is not a voice note. It is not a press release.
People face every day.
Yeah.
Although that had some advantages too.
Yeah.
But oh gosh, once a month?
Yeah.
That's all I will say.
Once a month? You can't come before the media in a press conference once a month and convincingly address the issues related to national security in the country crime as the commissioner of police?
Yeah. But I hope that the police get to the bottom of that particular story really, really quick. You understand? Really, really quick. Because it's another horrific story. So far, for the killings in Guanapo, we have heard nothing since. There's been radio silence on that. You understand? The story that we dealing with now is the decomposition of the bodies. We ain't hearing nothing about arrests, no murder suspects, nothing yet.
Because I don't have all the details in my head, but is it that because I saw I think the managing director of Belgrove's visit chastising the police seemingly about the issues related to the state of the bodies when the families receive them.
We discussed that at length on Friday, and as a matter of fact, that was the subject of our poll. That was the subject of our poll on Friday, Paul.
What actually happened? Just give me a quick synopsis. I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know who's really to be blamed. Our question was should the funeral homes take responsibility? Do you blame the funeral homes? Because you got the impression we were trying to get, actually, hopefully this week Steve will work on it, someone from the funeral homes, maybe Mr. Belgrove himself, to explain to us the sequence, what happens when they go and pick up a body off of a killing, of a site, a murder scene, sorry. We don't know the sequence. If the body goes to the funeral home or if it goes directly to forensics. We were told that forensics do not operate on a weekend. So if it happens on a weekend, they go to the funeral homes. The body goes to the funeral home. And that's where some of the decay will take place. So
I'm sending a number for Mr. Belgrove for Steve now. So I hope you're calling it.
So that's what we needed to follow up.
The impression I got from the little I saw in the newspapers and what I gleaned from some of the statements coming from Mr. Belgrove is that the condition of the bodies were in when it got to the funeral home was part of the issue.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if he's attributing that because I think he was saying that the families need to talk to the commissioner of police or the police about that and the issue related to the state of the bodies.
Yeah. I don't understand how the police came into it.
I don't understand because the police, from the time the demo pronounce you dead, I do not have body is held as evidence. It may be in some instances until the autopsy is officially confirmed.
Yeah.
But
it's not held by the police. For that. I don't know. His naming of the police as responsible, we couldn't understand that. How the police got involved in that. But that's why we need to speak with someone to find out the sequence. What happens when the police removes the body from the site, the murder scene? What happens? That's what we don't know. We see them speeding down the PBR a lot of times to get the forensics, but we don't know how long after that is, So that's what we are not sure about. So we have to follow up. We wanted to follow up on that. So hopefully Steve will get someone this week so we can talk about that, Anyway, I have some birthdays of some very good friends. Victor Lake, he lives out there in Fort Lauderdale. Happy birthday, Victor. Charmaine Buru, Wanda Lela Rosa, she also lives out in Fort Lauderdale. Sharon Charles, Etienne Mendez. Haven't seen or heard from Etienne in a long time. He's a civil engineer. Happy birthday, Etienne. Nasha Felix. And yesterday was Colin Rodney. He was a former police officer, former councillor in Tunapuna, Piako. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. And Andrea Ramsume was on yesterday also, and Cindy Nelson. Yesterday would also have been the birthday of Martin Joseph. He always started out October. And but lots of birthdays coming up this week and this month. So in case I'm not on radio when your birthday is on, happy birthday from now. All right?
There's also Tobago. There's also in Tobago.
Yeah, I didn't read much news this weekend. I didn't do much this weekend. I had a birthday party for at my place in St. James. My barber, my friend Roland Sanka, he had his birthday party Saturday, and that's all I did for the weekend. I did nothing else. Nothing else I did. I wanted to go to Nikki Crosby 50-ish AF yesterday, and I just didn't move off my bed. I had ice cream and cake, olive oil cake. I had a friend made olive oil cake, and I tried that. That's what I had with soursop ice cream.
And ice cream and cakes.
Yeah, I didn't even know it had a cake called olive oil cake. You could make a cake from olive oil and what almond flour, you say, and I tried it. I'm generally a guinea pig for his experiments. So that's what I had.
Many people's experiments, apparently.
Yeah?
Yeah, guinea pig for many people's experiments.
Well, clearly, Ed. clearly. You know, but I didn't even.
You know what was also back to the Ghana discussion? The craft market is astounding. Oh my God.
The market on the whole.
Yeah, but there's a very rural craft market we were taking to. And oh my God, by an MP, a very young MP. She's an opposition MP. So she took us on a tour of the craft market and the woodwork and the sculpture and the fabrics and the textiles and the jewelry. It's astoundingly talented.
Yeah, and the price is absolutely fantastic.
Well, you have to negotiate.
Well, naturally, you have to negotiate.
If something costs 100 or 150 CDs, which is the currency, which is $1 10 or 11 CDs, right? They're starting at 1,200 with everything.
Yeah.
And by the time you're ready to send an iron again, you're getting from 150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn that fast, eh?
You learn it very fast.
Yes.
The amount of stuff I got
negotiate
for $200 changed is amazing.
Yeah. And you got a lot, you could fill a suitcase with that, you know.
Well, the thing about it is that I think there is so much opportunity for trade because of the stuff that they make, you know. Now I understand why African Trophies does so well on trade.
Yeah. Well, you know that at one point in time, I was seriously considering that type of business here with Ghanaian products.
You make money.
Yeah.
But the stuff is,
and especially the clothing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I also think because the music is so similar to soca, that there's a lot of opportunity for our artists to come to Ghana and perform at shows because they're heavy into culture and arts and stuff like that. There's a huge theater center on is it Nkrumah?
Nkrumah?
Yeah. Highway.
Yeah.
Which really goes through the city center. So
right. You all went out by the palace, by the presidential palace. Beautiful, eh?
I think they do everything in such grand style. It's like everything has to be huge and big and you know?
Yeah, man. Ghana is.
But today is really budget day primarily. It's all about budget.
Akwaba.
Good morning, guys.
We're coming to you live from Ghana today, Richard.
I know Paul is. I don't know about you.
I'm Ghana is in me. I don't need to be in Ghana Ghana is in me now, you know.
A little birdie also told me you were in Ghana too.
Yeah,
In
the
more ways than one.
Yeah, the Ghana will heat up at the end of this month actually with some activities. They normally do
But
those
I think how about the Crosby shows?
Oh, actually, excellent. I mean, people really came out in droves. I mean, Saturday night was close to being sold out if it wasn't, and Sunday was also very packed. So lots of people came out
She was
to see the
Christine Brusha. She
Cleveland.
told me I was supposed to be there, but she's going to CLR and South also.
Yeah, she's going to Cipriani College this weekend, and the following weekend she'll be in Sapa.
Depending on what time I reach back home.
Yeah. So and
I'll probably do CLR.
A lot of good reviews because a lot of people came backstage, and you know.
When I tried to speak to her on Friday, she had no voice from rehearsals.
Yeah, the rehearsals were, going through the rehearsals was tough on her, and going through the length of the show, what we felt needed to be cut, what we felt needed to stay in, what we felt needed to be enhanced. It's a combination of things that you look at,
So
in terms of.
you and Penny directed.
Yeah.
So you all actually go into the crowd and see the reaction to the pieces and see what they edit and stuff.
Yeah, but not only that, you look at in terms as a director. Now, a director's job in a traditional sense really ends on the night a show opens. Traditionally, of course, in a Trinidad and Tobago context, that may happen too. It doesn't happen in our production company. That does not happen. We continue. The show could be running for, I don't know, 3 months. And on your final show, you'd still be getting notes. Still be getting this because didn't work tonight. And I said, but it's the last show. You say, but yeah, but we still letting you know. So we always give notes straight down to the, whatever. But yeah, you look at different things.
Is it stand-up comedy, Richard, or does it involve other actors?
No. It's Nikki talking basically.
It's stand-up comedy. Okay.
Yeah. So so you would look at different things that you think work better. You look at different things from a directorial point of view about how it should be phrased better in terms of whatever impact, the timing. You'd look at things like that. You would look at the pacing. You look at all of those things that you look at in any other thing that you do with acting and stuff, but particularly in comedy, you would look at a lot of those things. And but yeah, Nikki was amazing. She was amazing.
She's a natural.
Yeah. And people had a thoroughly good time. A thoroughly good.
Well,
But it's very funny.
It
is very funny. I mean, some of these stories, and many of these stories are real. It's just hilarious and unbelievable.
If you know her all her life, she has a lot of hilarious stories.
Good. So
a former colleague of mine had the best weekend ever.
A former colleague, you say, no?
Former independent senator David Small was awarded $21 million.
Oh?
In a case against Nikon.
Oh, okay. Nikon have that kind of money still?
No, Nikon $300 million in problems right now, and
I know
against them. Go, David.
Wow. I saw also to Davlin Thomas was awarded, I think, $1 million the other day too for defamation.
Case.
Yes.
You can't paste nonsense on Facebook and think you'll get away.
Exactly. That is for all the
Why you
people who
put
like to
anything on-
put
why you think
malign
social
people
media
on
will save all
social
you?
media. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I enjoyed reading that.
Or you imagine social media will save all you. Go ahead with all your nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it was
Anyway,
social
gentlemen,
media
I have to go and get
posts
dressed.
that
It is
people.
now 25 to 11 here, and I have a 10:45 pickup.
What's that he just said there?
I don't know.
I have to go.
All right.
Oh, that's say you have
Yes,
to go
no, he
there.
has a 10:45 pickup. 10:45 his time.
So much time again you have?
I didn't be there already, so just to put on the clothes.
Oh, 10 minutes, 9 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
As
That
much time
explains-
as you take generally.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, I just do a lot of 9 minutes, that's all. Can you?
I prefer to do 1 hour than 6-9 minutes.
Happy birthday also to Dr. Marlene Atz. We have interviewed her concerning the economy and so on. She's celebrating her birthday today too. Happy birthday to Dr. Atz, Marlene Atz. All right. And Richard, you have papers?
No, I don't. Sorry.
It's not quite time for papers yet, actually. Time is moving a little slow today.
I'll give Boya Blank go to the papers quick.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
All right.
Jeez, this thing running slow. All right. You all hear me still?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
All right, Guardian for October 2nd. Union bosses take care of society's vulnerable in budget. NIB proposes rate increase to government fund $1 billion gap. Nikon ordered to pay former VP $21 million. Ordinary citizens spend $732 million on vehicle taxes and duties from 2021 to 2023. Let's move now to the Newsday online for today. Employee bound and gagged and robbed in Marbella. Woman stabs and kills Tobago woman during quarrel. Clark Energy introduced to local stakeholders. Hunting season opens, ammo in short supply. Court condemns Nikon for non-payment of ex-VP. Employee bound and gagged and robbed in Marbella. And food vendor and driver robbed in Claxton Bay. Let's move now to what I hope is the Express. For today. Are we producing winners or losers in the education sector? TNTech crew held up at gunpoint. Integrity probe into ex-AG yet to end. $19.50 minimum wage proposed. And education is the key to progress in local business exposes. So those are trending stories in your Guardian, Express, and Newsday for today, October 2nd. Have a great day, guys. I go.
All right, Pablo. Talk to you
Bye-bye.
soon. Have a good one. All righty. Let's say good morning. Go out to a few people. Robin, 1824, October's Parang season. Yeah, I cannot play music, Robin, not till after 8 because we're on YouTube, so I can't touch any music. Christo said good morning. Wayne B out in Covington, Georgia, good morning. Ebony Jewel Star. What? Thank you so much. Lando, good morning. Ronnie was there. Shuin Ke, Mrs. R, Jerron Joseph, Winston Jones, good morning to you guys. All right. Let's get into, I can't get the results of the poll. What is going on here? Nope, I can't get the results. Don't know what's happening here. All right, we'll figure that out. Let's get into to the poll, gentlemen.
Well, we could ask about the minimum wage. Are you in support of an increase in the minimum wage?
Or do you expect a people's budget?
Yeah, that's the main story coming out of the
which includes budget, minimum wage. Do you think we'll get a people's budget? Yes or no?
People's budget. Well, you don't want to stick to the minimum wage because every budget's supposed to be a people's. Every budget's supposed to be a people's budget.
One would think.
But there are some people who will not support an increase in the minimum wage. So and some people.
Everybody want to fill up the tank with gas this morning.
Well, the normal thing, but
Normal thing. Once a year we do that.
yeah. But somebody pointed out something to me over the weekend that we have to check because apparently most gas stations have taken down their per liter cost of that they normally would have up outside because some gas stations, this is somebody who did, I guess, checked around, that there has been the liberalization of prices for premium, that some people are charging different prices per liter for premium. Are you all aware of that?
No.
Yeah, that's what the person said. Some places is over $8 per liter, and some other places is under $8. You know, they're in different gas stations. I don't know if people have noticed that, but he said he noticed it. I generally just go and sit and stick my credit card in the machines, as I say, and fill my tank. But the other day, I went to a gas station that was not using a credit card. And I told them the maximum to put. And when I put it and my tank wasn't empty, it didn't click. So clearly that gas station per liter price is more than where I would have gone before. You understand? But apparently that is happening. I don't know if other people have noticed it, you know. Because they've
I
been
haven't.
talking.
I can't say that I have. Sometimes you find the pumps run longer, and then sometimes you find it run shorter. But I put it down to the speed of the pump.
Yeah.
Some
Okay.
gas stations it's just slow, and you're thinking, "Oh God, this machine is moving slow to
Yeah.
dispense the gas."
Remember, you could determine the speed too, eh? When you
How?
pull the lever, you could determine the speed you want your gas
No,
running
but
to.
sometimes it runs a little slower than when it normally runs. Sometimes.
Yeah. In
But
some gas stations.
I would have noticed, as I said the other day, because I actually didn't use my card in a machine, I used it on the inside. That the amount that I told them, my tank, it never clicked. And it reached the amount that I told them. And I said, wow, you know? And then the person pointed it out to me. They said they observed that there are different prices per liter at different gas stations now. You know? Yeah. Morning, Miss Hayatali. Yeah, it's something is happening there that maybe we're not aware of. You understand? Because they've been talking about different gas stations. You can get different prices at different gas stations. But then they're supposed to advertise it, don't they? And they're supposed to put up signs like how they do in the United States.
One would think, because you would think you're being competitive,
Yeah.
that my gas is cheaper or my gas is more competitively priced.
Yeah. Yeah, because yesterday I put gas, and because I was pretty much on Gaslight on. And so I put in the amount which I thought would have filled it. And I only got 3/4 tank. And I'm saying,
So that's what I'm saying. Something is going on somewhere. Something
I
is
found it
going on
very
with gas.
odd. Because I mean, I have my car for a while, so I know if my tank is at half, I know it's going to cost me about $185 on super to fill. I'm using super, for example, and Gaslight on. And you can do the calculation. Because most tanks are like 50 liters. I'm saying, but that's weird. I said, okay. I was so Russian though.
I expected to get back change. Let's just put it this way. I expected to get back change when I told them the other day how much to take off the card. And my tank did not even click. You understand? It ran out that money and it did not even click off. Which prompted a conversation with someone who said, yes, he has noticed it, the different gas stations. It is happening. They have different prices per liter. But they're not putting it up.
Yeah. I think if you're not putting it up, a lot of people are not going to notice.
No.
They're not going to notice.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back in to our morning pool once again. Are you in support of an increase in the minimum wage in today's national budget? That is our poll. 222-8255 North Americans, 866-525-1099. You can send us a message on YouTube as well. Ween B says
2 votes so far.
Yeah. Anthony Tinto out in Canada. Good morning to you.
Morning, Tinto.
Shuin Kerr says yes to the poll. All right. Are you in support of an increase in the minimum wage in today's national budget? Commences at 1:30 this afternoon. All right. Winston Jones, yes to the poll. Thank you so much, Winston Jones. Miss Ingrid, absolutely yes to the poll. Thank you, Miss Ingrid. Kenny out in Harlem says yes to the poll. Wayne Joseph, yes. Wayne is out in Canada. Which part in Canada is like saying in the US? Where in the US? Where in Canada, Wayne Joseph? All right, so 222-8255, toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Julia S. Batiste. Good morning, guys. Yes. Are you in support of an increase in the minimum wage? It is now $17.50. That is the minimum wage currently.
Did you give Slick Money Grip?
I didn't know.
He says yes.
Anthony Tinto says yes. Slick Money Grip says yes. Ronnie Voisin says yes. Julia, I think you voted already, didn't you? Edwin Marshall says, what they holding back, the 50 cents?
CBT Singh says no.
Yeah. Lorna, morning Indy, morning Carly says yes, of course. What says you, caller?
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy, no.
All right, Grandy, thank you. Ms. Maloney, morning, Doodoo. Yes. Karen Yipnow says yes. Carol Guevara says yes. Huda Wells says yes. All right, so 222-8255.
Edwin Marshall didn't actually vote, and he just asked a question, but he didn't vote.
Yeah.
No.
Richard, are you writing also?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All right, so
I could have missed a couple,
222-8255.
but yes, I am writing.
Yeah, I think I captured all because I'm actually writing as they come up. I'm not writing when you all say it. Because I'm looking at the screen. Because some of those coming up, and then when you look back, you realize you missed a few that came in apparently at the same time. So the order changes.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing I notice on YouTube. You'll see a comment come up in your front of your eyes, and then when you look back, you realize others came whilst you're not looking. You know. Good morning, Scorpion Pepper. Whoever that is. There are faces to some of these people, you know, but you can't really see it. It's so tiny. And you can't expand. Actually, you can. So Scorpion Pepper is actually the face of Leonardo DiCaprio. Karen Yipnow is Karen Yipnow. A slim Karen Yipnow, though. Karen, don't try that. Carol is definitely Carol. Lorna Kalu Singh, I'm assuming that's missing there. Edwin Marshall, I'm not sure who that is.
All right.
The person looks like
Salim Abdullah says yes. Troy Marie says yes. Good morning, Leonard Nightwell. All right. So 222-8255. Outside of TNT in the U.S. and North America, 866-525-1099. Are you in support for an increase in the minimum wage in today's national budget?
Mm-hmm. You're sure right, Karen. That was the last time I saw you in person. When we cut all your tail in cricket.
I think this national budget, they should just put it online. This reading of this thing, been like that since
You could prevent the minister of finance from standing up there and getting that attention for 3-4 hours. How are you doing that? How are you doing that? And every now and then somebody thump a desk and make you feel really tall and handsome. How are you doing that? You playing with the politics and politicians. Vaughn Drayton says yes. Morning, Vaughn. And you get to Lego a little snarky remark. I like with Richard's word, a snarky remark at the opposition across the floor. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, but wait, Mr. Speaker not here. The Deputy Speaker will be in the chair today. Mr. Speaker is in Ghana also. The Speaker is in Ghana with Paul. No, he's the President of the Senate. What am I? No, he's the Speaker, man. No, what am I saying? He's the President of the Senate. He is in Ghana. The Speaker is still Bridget Anizet George. My bad. So the President of the Senate is who's in Ghana along with Paul. And Senator Randall Mitchell is also there, I noticed.
Oh, I was wondering, how come
It's a
Paul
CPA conference.
Oh, I was wondering how Paul went to Ghana if he just decided, I'm going to on a holiday in Ghana.
No. It's a CPA conference in Ghana. Because
That
Senator
explains it.
Randall Mitchell is there and the President of the Senate, Nigel De Freitas, is also there. I suspect that's three from Trinidad because Paul posted a picture with a group and those were the only three that I noticed from Trinidad. I saw three other people, one of whom I know, he's the Consul General out there in Ghana, Mr. John Mitchell. Yeah, John Mitchell. Am I saying that correct? John something. Yeah, I met him. And he took us around in Ghana too when we were there last time. He was also.
Did you get that vote, Vaughn Drayton?
Yes. I did Vaughn Drayton, but Edwin Marshall is now saying yes. So.
Oh, okay.
You're right, Karen. I'll do it with the 7 o'clock break. That's when I normally do it.
Oh, I could do it at right now. Cup of coffee. Cup of coffee.
All right. So do you support the increase in minimum wage in today's national budget? There are several proposals. Of course, the unions had said $30. The opposition proposed $25. But apparently there's been a figure mooted about lately at $19.50. So it'll give you a monthly salary at 40 hours of work of about $3,120. The lowest paid worker will get that from now on, as opposed to I think it's 2,800 or thereabouts now, right? And the Hilton John Mitchell. Thanks, Karen. So I was correct with John Mitchell.
All right, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Morning.
Hi, Sugar. Hello.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Speak to us through the phone.
Good morning, morning, Mr. R. Steve is always time up when he do some kind of thing.
Morning, Mrs. R.
I didn't even do anything.
Yes, you did, Steve. One tap for you. Morning, Wendell.
Morning, Tuesday.
All right, so
you listen to the echo, that's why.
Oh, because I have you on YouTube, but I'm speaking on the other phone here, so.
Yeah.
So my answer is, yes.
Yeah, answer is yes.
Yes.
All right, we got you.
Okay, bye.
Ms. Sampson is saying days and hours will be reduced, so employees will be in the same situation. Well, I don't know that they can do that willy-nilly. Maybe in the private sector. They certainly can't do it in the public sector just like that. They can't just suddenly, for instance, CPAP workers, URP workers are the lowest rung right now, right? I don't know that they could say, oh, you're working less hours to get this and put your salary back down. It'll have to be increased.
Yep.
You understand? But you didn't vote, Ms. Sampson, so I'm not sure what you. I
So the poll
understand
is,
your comment.
the poll is, are you in support of an increase in the minimum wage in today's national budget? That's our poll this morning, because today is budget day, just in case you didn't know. 222 talk, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app, where you will have to send your votes via the comment section on our YouTube stream. If you want to vote, and we're getting some other votes there, I believe. Well, I'm not so sure. Edwin Marshall was the last one. I'm seeing some votes coming in there, I think.
Leonard Naipaul came in,
Yeah.
says yes. I think all the internet streams work differently. So because you're saying you're seeing some coming in, I ain't seen nothing come yet except Leonard Naipaul.
Yeah, but as Talita Sampson said something, I just saw come in.
Yeah, I just read it. Read
Okay.
it. She's the one who's saying that the hours and days will be reduced, so the employees will be in the same situation.
Right. Yeah, I was going through the newspapers in terms of the NIB request. Well, the NIB is saying that they are over $1 billion in shortfall, and they're making suggestions. Right now, the NIB contribution rate is 13%. They're suggesting it goes up to 16 point something. And they're also suggesting that which I've suggested before, that the pensionable age move from 60 to 65.
We've been hearing that for many years now.
Yeah, albeit gradually. But the 11th electoral report apparently is close to completion or completed. I wasn't quite understanding whether it was completed or not. But an interesting part of the article is that the state owes approximately $240 or $50 million.
How could the state be owing?
Yeah, isn't that strange? The government, through several state agencies, is the biggest debtor to NIB, according to the documents obtained by the Sunday Guardian. 7 of NIB's top 10 debtors as of June 30th were state-owned enterprises and government ministries. They owe the institution about $240 million. National Maintenance, Training and Security Limited, their debt is $75,396,798. Blah. The debt is for a period 2017, October 2017 to May 2020. The NIB is seeking approval to initiate legal action because MTS has indicated that it is unable to liquidate the debt.
Wow.
Shore Security Services, I don't know if that's state or not, $40 million. NIB obtained a judgment against the company. Ministry of Education, $35,969,191 for the period September 2003 to December 2008. The matter is under investigation by NIB's Recoveries Department. Water and Sewage Authority, the debt is $16,852,521. WASA has informed the NIB that the debt is statute barred. However, the NIB's legal advice is for the matter to be escalated to the chairman of both entities for discussions in settling the matter going forward. Ministry of Science, Technology, and Tertiary Education, the debt is at $23,424,000 for the period June 2001 to June 2009. An investigation is underway to reconcile the figures. University of Trinidad and Tobago, the debt stands at $21,024,289 and some cents. October 2005 to December 2014. The matter is being investigated by the Recoveries Department. Employment Training Program, $16,535,000. Eastside Bakers Limited, $15,617,000.
A bakery owing $15 million?
Ooh.
A bakery owing $15 million?
Eastside Bakers Company Limited.
But it's not necessarily
but they have
bakery.
entered a promissory note to pay $10,000 a month, and they are now paying $12,500 a month. Ministry of National Security Fire Services, $12,221,000 from 2016 to 2018. Negotiations are ongoing. ongoing. The Ministry of Finance had an amnesty for payment of outstanding NINS contributions from December 31st, 2022 to January 31st, 2023. And they raised $90 million out of that amnesty.
Okay.
So this is just a glimpse of some of the issues being raised by the NIB. Isn't that interesting?
Very interesting. And not surprising that one of the most badly run places owing the most. MTS. Not surprising. They have a history of owing. Steve?
All right, let's get into
news time.
Yeah, let's get into our major news because AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The Prime Minister remains tight-lipped on details relating to the national budget, which will be presented by the Minister of Finance in Parliament at 1:30 p.m. today. JTAM and Taxi Drivers Network appeal for no increase in the cost of fuel in today's national budget. The business community wants food security to be given greater priority. And the police commissioner appeals to members of the public with information on the murder of a 13-year-old girl to come forward. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. I'm Avril Sintilbab. Good morning. The Prime Minister is remaining tight-lipped on details relating to the national budget, which will be presented by the Minister of Finance in Parliament at 1:30 p.m. Dr. Keith Rowley told reporters at a health fair held at the Seventh-day Adventist Community Hospital on Sunday that all speculations will be over today. The Prime Minister said the fiscal package is ready and the nation will be informed of its content in the House of Representatives this afternoon. The Joint Trade Union Movement is appealing for no increase in the cost of fuel in today's presentation of the national budget. JTAM is also asking for the government to increase the minimum wage, leave the retirement age at 60, and forego the implementation of the property tax ahead of today's national budget. Representatives of the joint trade unions shared the proposals recently when they met with the opposition United National Congress. Speaking at a recent news briefing, General Secretary of JTAM, Ozzy Warwick, says the proposals have been sent to the Ministry of Finance. The proposals were developed after input received from JTAM, the National Trade Union Center, and the Federation of Independent Trade Unions and Non-Governmental Organizations. There has been a request for the government to implement special gas rebates for fishermen in today's national budget. The request comes from the All Tobago Fisherfolk Association. It said that it would like to see special gas rebates for the fisherfolk, gas rebates every 2 weeks instead of every 3 months. The association said it is looking at 50 to 75 cents on a litre. It is also hoping to see a greater investment in agriculture and fishing to preserve food security. The business community, in its budget wish list, is asking for special emphasis to be placed by the government in today's budget on food security, crime, digitization and technology, and small and medium-sized enterprises, cultural and creative industries, youth, and children. It is also asking for attention to be given to retail and distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, energy, and agriculture. It is suggesting improvement be made in the ease of doing business for local companies, as well as attracting regional and international investments. The Trinidad and Tobago Taxi Drivers Network is asking the government to hold off on increasing the cost of fuel in today's budget. Government in the past has indicated it will gradually ease its subsidy on fuel. However, the network claims another fuel increase will be detrimental for taxi drivers. It explains taxi drivers have been facing hardship due to hikes in the commodity in recent times, as well as maintenance costs and bad roads. Commissioner of Police Earl Harewood Christopher yesterday appealed to the public for an end to senseless killings. Yesterday, she appealed to the public to bring information to the attention of the police to solve the murders of 13-year-old Andrea Lallan and her uncle Sylvan Lallan. The TTPS issued a release updating the public with information indicating that a 13-year-old victim had reported she was sexually assaulted by a Rio Claro couple. Police did not identify the victim as Andrea Lallan. However, they stated that the couple included a 23-year-old woman and a 49-year-old man who were both charged with 2 offenses of sexual penetration of a 13-year-old girl. The release stated that according to a police report, on September 15th at 3:15 p.m., the girl was asleep at the home of the man and his girlfriend when she was allegedly awakened and sexually assaulted by them. Andrea and her father reported the incident to the Rio Claro police station, and investigations were carried out by WPC Faria and WPC O'Connor of the Rio Claro Criminal Investigations Department under the supervision of Sergeant Maharaj. The couple yesterday appeared in a virtual hearing before Magistrate Ava Vandenberg Bailey in the Rio Claro Magistrates Court. The cases were postponed to October 27th. Andrea Lala is the second child to be murdered in the past week, following the murder of a 10-year-old boy among a family of 4 last week in the country. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Chief Executive Officer of the Seventh-day Adventist Community Hospital, Dr. Stephen S. Carroll, is reporting an increase in persons being admitted to the institution for heat-related illnesses issues. Speaking with members of the media on Sunday during the annual health fair, Dr. Carroll said many individuals are being brought to the hospital for fatigue. Dr. Carroll said close attention should be paid to the elderly. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, fair to partly cloudy at times with some light to moderate showers over broad areas. There's a medium to high chance some of these showers will become heavy and thundery. Nightfall, these conditions will continue. However, expect dramatic improvement as the night progresses. Trinidad and Tobago has been placed on a yellow level adverse weather alert as of 12 midnight. It is to finish at 4 p.m. today. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 30 degrees Celsius at Crown Point, Tobago. It is currently 26 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 27 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, the Prime Minister remains tight-lipped on details relating to the national budget, which will be presented by the Minister of Finance in Parliament at 1:30 p.m. today. JTAM and Taxi Drivers Network appeal for no increase in the cost of fuel in today's national budget. The business community wants food security to be greater or given greater priority, and the police commissioner appeals to members of the public with information on murder of a 13-year-old girl to come forward. I'm Afril Sindhil-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail coming up at 12 noon today and an update coming your way at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All righty. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join at 8 for our news brief. All right. It is 10 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock on this second day of the best month of the year, October. Well, this is one of the best months. December, Christmas is next month. All right. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Let's go through the east-west corridor. Going through Santa Rosa, you've got some traffic. Maloney, straight to QREP. Well, UE, and then QREP into Port of Spain. You've got traffic again from Ibis Gardens towards QREP. Eastern Main Road, not too bad, actually. It's going to get heavier from St. Joseph as you approach Mova. Going up Lady Young Road, out of Maraval, out of Dago, Lower Santa Cruz. You've got it. Going to Endeavor, approaching Chin Chin Road as well. Let's head down south. Whoa, lighter than usual. Princess Town, you've got some traffic this morning. Rivulet Road is not too bad. The Solo it's moving a little bit. You'll pick up your traffic this morning, just by before Monroe Road, and that road itself is already heavy. All right, so that's a quick traffic update for you. Hope that helped you out in one way or the other. All right, good. Let's say good morning going out to, okay. Alistair Hart says yes to the poll. All right,
Yeah,
so let's.
I would have recorded Alistair Hart's vote already.
Yeah. Where the guys?
I'm here. Just
sorry.
sometimes when you I still having olive oil cake, so I have any balance of it, so I just wrapping it up. Yeah, I got Alistair Hart's vote already.
I don't know if you want to give the results, Wendell.
Yes, I can. Of course, this morning we asked, would you support an increase in the minimum wage in today's budget presentation by Minister of Finance? It's coming up at 1:30 this afternoon. We had 25 people weighing in on our votes on our poll this morning. 22 said yes, 3 people said no. 22 said yes, 3 said no to an increase. It's a very minuscule amount of people actually a minimum wage increase impacts. It's not as many people as people think it is. Most people already work over more than the minimum wage. I'm speaking public sector here, right? I'm not speaking private sector, right? So it's not many people. So yes, I will support it, of course, naturally.
Yeah.
Especially as it affects the people at the lowest rung of the ladder in terms of wages and so on. I'm sure they'll be very happy for an increase, especially going into a Christmas period here, where everybody spends money, regardless of whether they have it or not. They find it and they spend it, And who benefits? All the conglomerates around the place. And who don't like to pay some of the workers? Them same conglomerates. So yeah, give them the increase. I have no problem with it. I'm surprised Ms. Sampson says no, though. Ms. Sampson, you need to call and explain why you don't think people should get an increase. Because people could be taken advantage of anyway, They could reduce the hours and days anyway, which is what happens a lot in private sector. Lord knows we know that too, not so, Richard?
Yeah. A lot of times too, I know there are many companies that do pay above that minimum wage, even if there was an increase.
Yeah.
There are many companies who pay above that in terms of employees. So there's a swathe of workers it won't affect, even if it's increased.
Yes.
But I mean, there's still a lot who do pay at the minimum wage level or have certain jobs in their structure that are at that level.
Yes.
So
$2 an hour extra.
Yeah, it
$16 a day.
Yep, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not so sure what level the government is going to raise it, if they're raising it, but it's something that needs to be obviously tackled.
Yeah. That's $80 extra a week. That's $160 extra every fortnight. And that's $320 extra every month. But there's a lot of people could do with $320 extra.
Yeah,
you understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
It might be able to pay a small loan for you so that you could borrow, because a lot of people, at that level, borrow a lot. You understand? Lord knows I remember them days of going in the bank and trying to get $5,000 borrowed. I remember those days, You're just trying to get $5,000 borrowed.
And you had to jump through all kind of hoops.
And Uncle Nene and everybody had to give some kind of testimonial or letter. You had to bring all kind of paper from all over the place just to get $5,000 borrowed. Oh, those days, Lord Father. Right? Beauty Culture is adding her vote to the, I'm assuming it's a her, to the poll this morning. Good morning, Beauty Culture. But yeah, those were hard days, and there are several people still having hard days like that. You know, so as I say, $320 extra every month will do a lot for some people, a lot. You know, so yeah, I'm in full support of it, and I hope it happens. And if they go more than that, better yet.
Yeah. So what time is budget scheduled? Is it like 1 or 2 or sometime around there?
1:30.
I know usually it's around that time. So 1:30 this afternoon, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Com Imber, will be reading the budget. Hopefully it's not going to be a 3-hour read.
It will be a 3-hour, 4-hour budget.
It will be.
It will be. He has never done a short budget presentation, and I say that without and no pun intended. He has never done a short budget presentation. So you could meet all the 3:30 going into 4 o'clock in this afternoon. Then you go start here what the real meat of the budget. Before that will be talk, desk thumping, bang, 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 pick on across the floor, snarky remarks across the floor. And then you'll hear the real thing at 3:30.
Yeah. No, you're right. And the issue of course, the issue of what's in the budget and what the budget is going to be like. I don't know. I think the government is in a straight place because they must be eyeing the 2025 election.
Yes.
And so that even for this budget has some leaning towards the 2025 budget, even though that budget, they're still in a budget in between.
Yes, there's still another budget to come.
Yeah, but what you put
but you don't want bad blood to start a groove from now.
Yeah. So you have to. It's a balancing act. If you have hard decisions to make, in terms of how you see the economy or how your advisors see the economy, which they say is growing, but still, and they've gotten some good news in terms of some ratings and stuff like that. But there's some issues, of course, to be resolved. Crime, of course, being a huge one.
Yeah.
And what they're going to do with crime and what. I don't think there's anything you can say in the budget that is going to immediately satisfy people with regard to crime, because they're going to say whatever you say is what you said before.
Yeah. I don't see how a budget could address crime. I honestly, people say
it could look at allocation of resources, but even that allocation, even if you give Ministry of National Security the most, it's not going to necessarily appease the public.
It has not worked.
Yeah. The public is still going to say, being just the results, and telling us how much you're giving the Ministry of National Security is not necessarily going to appease us.
No.
Unless we see the huge results.
They spend a lot of money putting cameras in the police cars, and they're not working. For example, that's just one.
You're going to hear about body cams. You're going to hear about all different manner of things again today, and it's just going to annoy me. Because the police, they're not going to use it. They're not using those tools to assist them. They're not using it.
Yeah. And we're not reinventing the wheel. All right, 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. I'm waiting for my guest still. Let's open up the lines. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. This is where you call us, huh? Right. I think this is Miss Sampson calling here. Hello.
Good morning. The reason I said no for the just speaking about the poll. If a certain bracket of people alone could have gotten the increase, it would have been fine. It has people getting perks and then getting more money on the perk. And then people who have employees will want to keep with the same budget, so they might cut a day, they drop off 2 days from this one, cut the hours, have people working part-time, and I think it would backfire in some way. I think it would backfire. That's the reason why I said to leave it as it is for now. What do you think?
Well, no, I do agree with that, of course, because as I say, there is nothing stopping private sector from reducing your days and reducing your hours anyway. You understand? They can do that. But for the people in the government, in the public sector, who earning the bare minimum wage right now, they are the ones who are going to benefit, and they should be able to benefit from an extra $300 every month. That's how I see it. Private sector is a completely different affair. Even though they are required to obey the law and pay the minimum wage, they can still take their own measures, which they do anyway. As I say, a budget they don't need a budget to do those things, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No problem. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Good program.
Morning.
Just a slight side from the budget. We survived the floods in New York anyway, but just a slight thing. I witnessed something amazing happen in the Jamaican Parliament on Thursday or Tuesday, whereby the Prime Minister's wife, who is an elected member, was elected as the Speaker of the Parliament, supported by the opposition, and another member of the government was elected Deputy Speaker, supported, seconded by the opposition. And I was making the comparison between Trinidad and Tobago. Had that so happened, had the Prime Minister's wife been the Speaker of the Parliament in Trinidad, what would have happened? Anyway, have a great day. I'm listening.
Yeah, I saw that. That Jamaican culture is so different to ours. She's been the Deputy Speaker for quite some time, and she's a very well-respected, elected member of the House. So there wasn't much opposition to her becoming the Speaker at all. I saw that. Paul had sent that story more than a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. When I to contradict what you're saying, I'm agreeing and disagreeing with you. I happened to got a ticket last week there in Port of Spain. Forgot my seatbelt off and police pulled me over and got a ticket. And I was pleasantly surprised to see the police officer had on a body cam. Right? So I'm saying that some of them do it.
Brent Batson must be stopped here. Is Brent Batson get a ticket on?
No, it wasn't Brent Batson. I always boast that he's the only police officer that wears a body cam. Right? But fortunately enough, it was not Brent Batson and the police officer was wearing a body cam. However, at the same time, I find it really strange that when police plan and execute high-risk raids that they know they're going for people with guns and ammunition, they just pick up their guns, they just pick up their bulletproof vests and their helmets and whatnot. But one of the things they sure don't pick up is a body cam to prove that, look, the man did have a fire and we did have to fire, or you did fire upon us, so anything like that. And any questions that the citizenry may have, we like to say, they killed the man, he didn't do nothing, he didn't have no gun. But anything to quell those suspicions, that is the incidents where they need body cams, where they do have body cams at all.
Yep.
But they do have, and I could testify that I saw one that wasn't Brett Batson. They use it for all the minuscule tasks. All the tasks that don't involve firefights, you want to see them with that or with it on for that. Traffic thing, and they said it. They said the body cams that they were going to get by police it.
Yes, any engagement, any police officer that engages with the public should be wearing a body cam.
Correct. All right?
Yeah.
So, but Ms. Sampson said something that I don't know, I question. Because as an employer, I still have to get my job done. So I can't see myself cutting down somebody's hours, and I still have to get my work done to be productive. So I hear it as an argument, but as an employer, I can't see it happening. I need my staff to stay there for me to finish my task and what I have planned for a day. And cutting down my staff hours, it means I would either be doubling up on another staff, expecting them to do more for less or for the same salary. And we know how human beings are with that. And now especially post-COVID, human beings not being exploited and not even wanted to go into offices to work these days. Yeah. I came from the United States the other day, and one of the problems that they were saying, they they have 3,000 jobs on a military base. But young people not coming out and they do not want to go into the traditional going to office to work again. They only want online jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I don't see that being a possibility, but I am not an expert. So, you know?
All right, Lincoln. Yeah, man.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Great show as always.
Thank you.
Yeah, first to begin, do you know that you have store employees and store workers in dry goods stores working for just $250 a week? $250, and even if the minimum wage was to increase to $25 an hour, that is only $200 a day, assuming you're working 8 hours a day. And $200 is really no money now in this day and age, But the question to me is not about increasing one's minimum age, At the end of the day, first to begin, a lot of these companies make huge profits in the hundreds of millions. And we know that. And what is there to offer somebody an extra $80 or so? But as I said, the question is not really that, You know what the real issue is? Monitoring and making sure that employers pay what they're supposed to pay, right? And that is the important thing. And with respect to the guy you talk about, he cannot see the number of hours being reduced for workers and so on. Well, remember, you could always hire new workers for less money, because there are so many personnel there, especially of the foreign kind, so to speak, right? So that shouldn't be a problem in terms of getting more workers to work those extra hours.
You're encouraging people to break. That is breaking the law, eh?
Yeah, but that is what unscrupulous employers do, at the end of the day, right? And finally, with respect to even these employers will even pay the small NIB contribution of the employees, and that is also an issue, because I heard about budget talk about even the CEO or at least a high official in the NIB talking about increasing the rates for employees and so on, right? So they move from increasing the minimum age of the retirement age to now increasing the rates, right? But that's another debate. Good show, guys.
Yeah, that NIB issue is going to become is going to be interesting, and I'm expecting something to be addressed in this budget. Richard, what do you think in terms of NIB? Because we've been hearing about the increase in retirement age for the longest while, and a structured increase in the retirement age.
I don't know how the Minister of Finance is going to deal with that. I don't know if he's going to see the increasing the NIB rate to 16% being
the answer,
the less conflicting or less controversial point, even though in their discussions with a lot of the unions, many unions didn't have a problem per se with raising the age of retirement to 65 once people were allowed to leave with full benefits between the ages of 60 to 65.
Right.
Especially in the transitory period. So that if you elected to leave at 61 or 62 or 63 and you could get your full benefits, especially if you're doing it over a 5-year period, let's say. So you say, let's say from 2024, you are giving people they can elect to retire at any age they want between 60 and 65. And with full benefits, then I think it's less of an issue. But even though some unions indicated they didn't have a problem, the major union that the government had to deal with, the PSA, did not agree with it, as far as I'm aware, or was the most resistant. Let me put it that way. So I don't know if they have resolved their differences in how they see it for the Minister of Finance to make some sort of decision with regard to that, or indicate a pending decision from Cabinet with regard to that. So we'll see how it plays out. It will certainly, I assume, feature in the budget, because NIB generally always features. So I'm sure it's going to be some degree of something is going to happen with NIB, because $1 billion shortfall is not sustainable.
No. And people are living longer older. So it will have an effect on the fund eventually.
Yep. And not only that, you have less young people coming into the system.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the problem of a declining rate.
Yes, yes. The contributors.
The contributors coming into the system, which
Yeah.
is why I do not know why they are not allowing the migrant workers to pay NIS. No, I know part of it is that they feel it will now give them more of a say, so to speak.
Legitimize them even more.
Yeah, you're going to have entitlement to certain benefits. But you're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
You need much more young people coming into the system than the country is at present producing.
Yes.
Because the dynamic of having children has changed. People don't, generations that had people with 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15 children and stuff. That's
now
not
it's a one child or no child.
Yeah, now it's couples have 1 child, 2 children, that's it.
Yeah. You remember that debate during the Manning era about people making more children? Because he was basically leading that kind of discussion at one time, you remember?
Yeah, because he was looking at the numbers. You're looking at the numbers. So you have to, as a society, you have to somehow make a bad shortfall, especially if your over 60s or over 65s are living longer. At some point, it's going to come home to roost. Now, the state may make the decision, let's just kick the can down the road. But at some point, the can can't kick no more.
Yep. I was also reading a very interesting article the other day about them extracting sperm from dead bodies. Once you do it within 30 hours of the body being dead, Richard. So for absolutely brilliant people who would have died and they want to keep their genes going, their gene pool going, they would extract sperm from the person. Once they do it within 30 hours, it was a story I read somewhere, and it could be done.
I know recently
I don't want to vocalize the method in which it's being done, but it's being done.
Interesting.
I thought somebody like you would have sent me that article, but somebody else did.
All right. We're still taking some of your calls. 222-8255, toll free. North Americans, 866-525-1099. Good morning to Mo Gaines out in Aruka. Good morning.
Yeah. So unless they
I know there was one where they had an embryo in a dish. Where they managed to get it fertilized in a dish and the embryo started to form. I'm not so sure what came out of it, but yeah, they had gotten to that point. Yeah.
I hear speaking about an article that pointed towards the extraction of that sperm, how they got it after the person died, and it must be, as I say, within a 30-hour window.
Yeah.
I
haven't read that article. Sorry.
Yeah, very interesting.
I was so busy too.
Yeah, I know you have been.
Yeah, because we have Nikki's show and we also have Bacchanal Bubble on Bad Behavior, which is on at Naprima Bowl this weekend. So San Fernando Theater is back at Naprima Bowl this weekend, and the brand new play premieres, Bacchanal Bubble and Bad Behavior. And so, of course, tickets available at K Squared Fashions, C3 Center, and Gulf City, as well as Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout, and Kerem Fresh at Brentwood Mall in Shogunas, which is also selling tickets for Nikki, because Nikki now moves to Cipriani College this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with 50ish and Hot AF. So all of the usual outlets that operated for Queen's Hall are now going to operate for Nikki's show. So those outlets should be getting their tickets today, if they haven't gotten them already. I don't think they have gotten them already. I'm not sure. But they should be getting them today. And the box office at Cipriani College opens from Wednesday, as does the box office at Naprima Bowl, also opens from Wednesday. If you want the tickets now, you can get them at the outlets. And people have been going to get the outlets. You know, so I mean, as I said earlier, Nikki show was packed over the weekend. I mean, and on opening night, she got a huge standing ovation.
Good.
I mean, people just applauded her. She was masterful.
All right. We do have some calls coming through, gentlemen. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
About the slowness of the pump, I have always heard and know that when the filter at the pump needs changing is when it's slow, right? And I noticed the last couple of years, no one brings up the debt that the government owes to contractors and textbook rental, because although textbook rental was stopped between 2012 and 2015 because lack of payment, there are a lot of publishers still being owed money, you know, and that's 10 years. And I noticed
people raise the issue of the contractors, I know, being owed. I know that. There was an effort last time to pay some people some money. So that hasn't gone away. Trust me. I would know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Kevin Yip now he send the link, Richard, to posthumous sperm retriever. Look at that. He sent the link on YouTube. You see that?
Morning, caller.
Hey, morning. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yes. The meal was good. You know what?
Oh, moving, boy. Tired. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I don't I think 20 minutes, boy.
I didn't realize I can't remember last time I moved, but she's a major. Oh, that reminds me, Wendell, we didn't know. Can I still do the pickup?
What's happening with you all there?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but
Richard Agubasan, morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
You have a new mayor in Arima, right? But
yes.
Somebody now called me and said to ask the mayor in Arima what they could do for Arimians with the water problem. Because I didn't have water for the whole week. The time ran out.
Well, different parts of Arima are serviced by different WASA facilities. So I know some are serviced from Guanapo. I know my area is Guanapo.
In Malabar area.
Malabar is not Guanapo. Malabar is, I'm not sure where Malabar. I know Malabar is not Guanapo.
Malabar has been especially bad over the years.
Yeah, they are somewhere else. I'm not so sure where they're getting the water from, but I don't think it is Guanapo.
Might be Arena.
It could be because, but I know Central Arima generally is Guanapo. And there is no other water facility that suffers from turbidity as much as Guanapo. Just putting it out there.
Well, I was listening to Ministry of Works talking about they're going to do an upgrade on the Omera Road, right?
Yeah.
But people trying to find out what to the upgrade on Tunpuna Road to cross the highway.
But that's a bigger thing. I remember they said it coming up, right? Omera, I think, was ahead of Tumpuna anyway. So let's just get Omera out of the way because Tumpuna needs it badly.
Thank you. Thank God for small mercies, as they say. They deal with Omera. Don't jump and go down the throat for Tumpuna yet.
Yeah.
I am
Let them
grateful.
finish Omera and you can say, okay, they finish Omera. Now go to Tumpuna.
Yeah.
So all these people who sell it on Omera, I don't know what of their way.
Mr. Patrick, what's the purpose of your thing?
We can't answer what will happen to them. I mean, I know they have some degree of vending that takes place, but a lot of the vending that was casual or on trucks and stuff, a lot of it seems to have disappeared, in my opinion.
Yes.
You have the kind of permanent or semi-permanent facilities on your left.
It's not as chaotic as it used to be.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the...
So when I call to talk about water, because they say they have water and they have no problem with water now, but But Malabar, I've been suffering from water for the past years.
Yeah, Malabar and where I live, because I just border.
That's something we're going to have to ask Marvin Gonzalez about.
Yeah.
What's the long-term fix for that? I know there is a proposed fix for Guanapo because part of that IDB loan is going towards remedying whatever the issues are at Guanapo, and they are being hopeful that once those issues are remedied and it's modernized with the money from that IDB loan, that the people serviced by Guanapo should get a 24-hour water supply. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But I know that's a lot of central arena, city center, so to speak. Malabar is somebody else. It's some other facility, but I'm not too sure which one it is. But Marvin Gonzalez is going to be the best person to probably answer that and update on what is that problem going on in Malabar.
Yes?
I know some young ladies who from Ghana. About 4 or 5 of them. They're always smiling.
Always.
They're always smiling. They're always cheerful. Yeah, boy. And they're beautiful, man. When the lady, when they tell me their sisters are from Ghana, I said, but you try to put the Ghana and certain people from Africa as ugly looking people, man. I said, something wrong with all your nice picture, man.
All right, Mr. Patrick.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Paul is in Ghana now, so he'll bring back some reports when he comes back. He gave us a brief report this morning. I'm sure he'll give extensive reports when he returns.
How long they up there for?
I didn't know. I didn't ask. I didn't ask, how long they there again for. They only got there, end of last week? Friday or Thursday or Friday, I think.
Friday.
Friday he wasn't on, so he was in the air. He was in transit on Friday. So I would imagine it's not less than a week.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Steve. How are you today?
Not bad at all. Tired, but not bad.
I could imagine. Just for my edification, Richard read out some figures that some of the government agencies and so forth owing for NIB. Just for clarity and thing, when these monies are deducted from employees, don't the institution or whatever have to pay it into NIB?
Yes.
One would think.
Right. So where does money go? If they deduct it from the people's salary, where is this money right now? Who has it? Why it was not paid into the NIB? I can understand.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't be able to answer that. That would be something that the respective agency, in terms of making those payments, because remember, a lot of the times agencies will they deduct the NIB. Agencies will deduct the NIB payments from employees, but when they're actually paying it from a state perspective, I'm talking about, by the way, that will actually be a separate check to NIB. That will be an accumulation of whatever all of the deductions are. So let's say you have employees, you have 100 employees, your NIB check might be, let's say, I'm just giving a figure. Let's say your NIB check is $1.2 million. So you pay the employees, and you have a check of $1.2 million to pay NIB. But for some of those state agencies, they maybe didn't have the funds to issue that check. And because they're state, they think, well, the state will eventually resolve this problem, but you didn't. Remember, if you're a state, you got any allocation from the state.
Right, exactly.
Money from the state. So they'll say, well, the state didn't give me enough money, and it's better I pay the employees rather than not pay them, and they become a juggling of issues, which should not happen. But that's the only way I could see it happening in some kind of way. But yes, it is mind-boggling because it affects people's ability to access benefits.
That's right.
So that if you are not paying it, NIB will know that your employer has not paid unless NIB gives a certain amount of concession to state agencies. But if you as an employee of that agency were to go and say, well, I need my benefit, NIB could say, we don't have the requisite amount of payments for you. to get that particular benefit, or you're not
Right.
seeing any benefits payable. So it's a crazy situation.
It's very crazy. Very
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
All right, okay, thanks.
All
Which
righty.
is why it's really important to request your NIB statements from time to time and check up on the amount of payments that they have accredited on your account. That you should do that, and it's simply enough for sending them an email and they send you back a statement. I do it generally like once a year just to be sure, what your payments are. So that, because you don't want a surprise at the point that you're going to retire or you're whatever, they'll say, your payments weren't up to date or whatever it is, whatever story you get at that point. So double check. It's a simple thing. Go on the NIB site. You can send an email and they reply to you within a couple of days with your statement. So we're still taking your calls, 222-TALK, 222-8255. I'll read some of the messages that are streaming through. Let me go up a little bit because we haven't been reading messages. Okay, I'm not so sure what that statement is about. So Karen says maybe Arena is the facility that services Malabar. He suggested that.
Yeah, I mentioned Arena.
He's saying Malabar has old infrastructure that needs replacing. Not so. So the question he's asking. Anon001 says government must do everything for us. Lord, we put them in place to manage, right? Shake my head. Karen, what's the food in Ghana? That's the question.
Paul said it was good.
Beauty. How is the food in Ghana? Sorry. Beauty culture.
The food in Ghana
Wendell, imagine banking sperms from psychopaths, mentally ill persons. Would they be using it for scientific experiment? I wonder. Karen says possibly gone into a suspense account. And could the increase in the minimum wage also result in layoffs down the road? So you have some questions in the middle of comments that people are making on our YouTube stream. And good morning, Mrs. R. I know she would have made a statement earlier that we wouldn't have read.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's some of the comments on the YouTube stream. So you can interact with us there if you don't wish to have your voice heard on air.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I want to speak about concerning national insurance.
Okay, go ahead.
Isn't there something stipulated in national insurance that if the employer does not pay your national insurance, there is a fine of $5,000? All right, and after that, you can see that they are not paying it. When you go to the national insurance, they are not paying it, and there's still nothing being done about that. Isn't there people that from national insurance that can go off and check on those things? And another thing, if the boss telling you, I'm paying, deducting your money, and when you reach 60 and you go to national insurance, there's no payment for you, you have nothing to get. What redress do you have for that?
Well, NIB, I know NIB has its own enforcement unit, and they will utilize the legislation with regard to the employer, but the employee is still left without access to some sort of benefit.
Exactly. So then now that they are 60 and need their benefits, they have none to get, and no charges were laid to the employer, because it's a long time you've been working for your 13, 14 years, and there's no benefits being paid and no charge laid against the employer. So where does we stand with that when we reach that age of 60?
Yep.
You know how many people have been faced with that same issue?
Yep.
Which is
why it is you have to check.
Yeah, you have to keep checking.
You have to check and make sure.
Yeah. All right, but you're checking and making sure it's not there. When you go to the employer, you say, don't worry, I'll fix it up. It still doesn't. But where you come to check in national insurance, and they're not going to send out somebody to see if the boss is paying your insurance or not. Why is he not paying it? And you are employing him.
No, actually, they do send out, yeah? They do send out people when people make those reports, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, then
All right.
I know of one. I know of one that they did not do that at all. And today the person is pretty near 60 years and he's not going to get 1 cent insurance. So now what is his redress? What is his redress? Did he have one?
Yeah, that's a
Right.
real,
Thank you, Colin.
That's a real difficult problem. Yeah, that's a difficult problem, and the state should have an answer to that.
Yeah.
Because the person must, from time to time, somebody makes a complaint or who goes to check and says, I'm working at so and so, because you have to give that information. I'm working at X, Y, and Z. I'm just checking up on my NIS payments, and they say, well, they're seeing none coming in. That should trigger something from NIS.
Yeah.
That says, what, we need to investigate this.
It generally does, you know, Richard, because I mean,
hold the employer accountable.
Yeah.
Guys, I have Vasant Bharat on the line. Good morning to you, Vasant.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. We have Wendell and Richard with us, and we have you for a couple of minutes. We just want to segue our conversation towards what's happening at the Red House after lunch.
Oh, okay. Well, what I would like to see and what I'm likely to see are probably two completely different things, of course. What I would really like to see is the Minister of Finance not treat the budget in a cool-hearted, dispassionate way. Because I know that whatever he says today impacts either positively or negatively the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. And we need to consider, these exercises as a reallocation of resources, in my opinion, a reallocation of resources based on social and economic priorities, really, rather than just trying to balance the books and it being an exercise in terms of debits and credits. And I think that, for me, if he were to do that, then he would address many of the ills, or start to address many of the ills that the ordinary man on the street is facing on a daily basis.
Yeah. I mean, how would you look at the issue of the politics of the budget? Because the budget statement is also a political statement. And the fact that an election is due in 2025, and whether that is going to influence the Minister of Finance in some way in how he relates whatever the provisions are in that budget. Do you think that election 2025 is going to be partly on his mind in crafting whatever policies?
Obviously, it will be on his mind, but if one were to look at this from the perspective of the population, we are so far behind the curve. Most people are so far behind the curve in terms of their living standards that any little sweetener that the Minister of Finance puts in, as he calls it, or other people refer to it, is not going to be enough to actually bring the ordinary citizen up to a decent standard of life. And let me explain what I mean by that. If, for example, he were to increase the minimum wage to, let's say, $20, which is probably something he's looking to do by $2.50. Because, of course, if he were to increase it significantly more, then there are other issues relating to inflation and so on. But let's assume he were to raise it by $2.50. How does that really help the public servant who is still today living on 2013 salaries? Or how is it going to affect the pensioner who is on a fixed income and can't afford to purchase pharmaceuticals? How is it going to affect the parent who's struggling today to put food on the table when food prices have increased by 31% in the last 5 years? So what we call sweeteners or something to hang on to really doesn't positively affect the quality of lives of people, because we are so far behind the curve already. You understand? So we need to have almost dramatic transformation, and that needs a budget document ought not to be what we're doing next year or for the next year. It needs to set out a vision for the next 5 years, and the government should say, listen, measure us based on this, but we guarantee that in 5 years' time, if we follow this course of action, your quality of life will be significantly better, and we can map out how people's quality of lives will increase over that period of time. So
one of the big problems that the Minister of Finance will be faced with, and this is a political and business issue, Basant, is the issue of crime, and what allocation and what is he going to say about the budget about that? Because it's something that has to be addressed.
Yeah.
Because it's by far the overwhelming concern of number one concern of citizens in the country.
Right. So you see, for me, it's not the amount of money you throw at any of these sectors. It is how you utilize the money and what you focus on. So there's some simple things that I feel that could work, not just in the short term, but could have long-lasting impact. I'll give you an example. Most of our agencies, whether it's in national security or in any of the ministries, they operate in silo form. One doesn't know what the next one is doing. So what if we were to, this is just an example, right? What if we were to, as far as crime is concerned, put a unit in place that has overarching influence over immigration, customs, Coast Guard, Air Guard, TTPS, so that information across all of those agencies could be gathered very quickly and acted upon, rather than each of these agencies acting alone and in silo effect. What if in the TTPS we had separate units specialized in dealing with gangs and dealing with human trafficking and dealing with cybercrime? What if, right? What if we set out to that from today onwards we are going to reform the criminal justice system, which is a major problem in getting justice in the country, and is also an issue because people feel they won't get caught, and if they do get caught, the time it takes for them for justice to be dispensed, they're going into remand, they stay in remand for 5, 6, 8 years, they come out as angry men and women. These are things that it's not the amount of money you throw at it, but it's the focus that you put on the priorities that you have for the country. And the same goes for agriculture and education and all of the other places. I just mentioned education. What plan do we have to prepare our young men and women today for the new world of work with, artificial intelligence and cybersecurity and telemedicine and renewable energy and e-commerce, logistics, and all of those things? And the same thing in, what are we doing in energy to be able to encourage people to want to come to Trinidad and invest in the upstream sector? So this is not a question of throwing money after it. This is a question of how do you utilize the funds that you've got in the most focused way? And I don't think that we do that. And I think that, these little sweeteners that we throw in because it's election next year and so on, we take the population for fools. And as a result, the population itself almost become dumbed down, and we are almost grateful for the little crumbs that are thrown. Why are we not getting this all the time? Why is it that we only have to wait for a budget for a little sweetener to be dropped in the water? That's my issue.
Well, I mean, to be fair to the citizenry, I think they are a lot of the citizenry is a little jaded. They just listen. I think people just default to what the fundamentals are that affects their lives. Is there going to be an increase in gas? Is there going to be an increase in VAT? Is there going to be an increase in tax in the online shopping? Because those are the things that affect people.
And that is because there is a sense of helplessness. They can't do anything about it. We are told all the time, we have no money. Well, whose fault is it that we have no money? Is it the ordinary citizens' fault we have no money? Or is it because we have mismanaged and mishandled the economy such that there's a lack of confidence for investors to invest in Trinidad and Tobago, both local investors and foreign direct investors? We have not handled our gas and oil and gas properly, so that our gas production has dropped by 40% in the last 6 years. Our oil production, of course, is at its lowest it's ever been, at 55,000 barrels. People are now looking at other countries to invest like Guyana and so on. So whose fault is it that we don't have money in Trinidad? Whose fault is it that we've had 8 years of negative growth when other countries are having 14 and 15? I've just come back from Fiji. Fiji's annual growth last year was 15.4%. They have nothing in comparison to us. Tourism is 40% of their production. What's happening with our tourism sector here? How often do we speak about it? So I'm just really fed up of quite frankly, guys, I'm fed up of saying the same thing over and over again every single year. I could just probably tape record this and send it to every year, and it'll be the same thing.
There was some. The Minister of Finance is obviously going to focus on the good news, and I think some of the good news is that there is some growth in the economy. The ratings agencies, have been fairly positive, or at least leaning in the positive direction with the economy.
Wendell, can I just for a minute interject there about the good news? And I know you're referring to the first quarter of this year. The fact is, there would be no good news had there not been a war in Ukraine and Russia, right? Our good news is not based on our own sweat and endeavor. It's based on the blood of the soldiers and civilians in those two countries. It's as simple as that. And when that happens, and also, of course, OPEC through Russia and Saudi Arabia has now cut back on their production. That's our good news. The good news isn't based on what we have done. And so therefore, when tomorrow morning the war stops and Russia and Saudi Arabia decide to produce more, what happens to our good news? We go back to where we were because it's not on the strength of our own backs. And that is the problem I have. That is the deep problem that we all have, that we continue to just fool the population by giving them these little drips and so, but not really, because let's be honest, not how many people outside there is actually going to analyze this, and also be fair, the only time economists and so on really analyze this is today and tomorrow and a few days afterwards, and everybody go back to their jobs. And we're done with that.
Do you?
And our politicians like it too.
Do you expect that the budget is going to surprise you in any way, or do you think it's just going to be more of the same?
I think it's going to be absolutely more of the same. I think the minister will beat himself on the chest for the little positive news you just spoke about. He won't indicate why we have that positive news. He's going to talk about dragon gas. And let me just say, we've signed a cooperation agreement, and I want to make that clear. A cooperation agreement is not a contract with a term sheet. A cooperation agreement could last for the next 20 years and nothing can happen. So let's not jump up for joy too quickly, because it's not a contract and there's no term sheet attached to it. So there's no deliverables on this. It is a cooperation agreement, which means we agree to cooperate in some form or fashion, which the population or many of us don't know about yet. And, and therefore it could drag on as it has dragged on for the last 10 or 15 years. So I don't really expect anything that will improve the quality of lives of people. I don't expect the subsidies to be touched. Of course, I hope it isn't, because that's going to further exacerbate things. I am hopeful that he will do something. Look, how often has this minister spoken about paying back VAT to business people? Right? That's a major problem. That stifles businesses to no end. The number of businesses have closed down, small businesses, simply because they don't have the cash flow as a result of government owing them money. So, we've been talking about, paying back VAT now for the longest while. Some of it has been paid, but not all of it. So, why is it that we don't say, look, we know we have a problem with this. Why is it that we don't convert a move from VAT, a system of VAT to a single sales tax where you don't have to worry about getting a refund? You just collect the sales tax on behalf of the government, you pay the government, and that is it. They don't have to worry with the bureaucracy and the audits involved to pay you back your money. These are simple little things that could be done that will alleviate the pressures on businesses. And those are some of the things that doesn't require money to do it. It just requires the will and the vision and the ability to implement.
I wanted to touch on the topic of NIB briefly. I know we have to close off at this point as we head towards the 8 o'clock news. The issue, I was reading one of the articles over the weekend, and there's a shortfall of over $1 billion, a little over $1 billion in NIB, and they're suggesting from the 11th actuarial report, one, gradual increase to the age of 65, and an increase, or both, an increase in the rate to 16.1%, I think. What's your take on that? And do you think the state is going to address that?
One of the biggest reasons why we have this shortfall, and the shortfall is simple to understand. We're paying out more contributions than we're paying out more benefits than we're receiving contributions, and that is because we have less people paying into the fund and more people are receiving, and of course people are living longer as well. But here's an idea: what about if we put more people to work? What about if we found job opportunities for more young people and got them into the system by creating more economic activity? Wouldn't that assist? I didn't see that as a recommendation, right? Wouldn't that assist greatly if you suddenly had a few thousand more people working and contributing into the fund? Of course it would. But you don't hear that recommendation. Why? Because it's hard to do. Because to do that, you have to create the enabling environment. You have to create the job opportunities. You have to create business confidence where people will employ more people. You have to create business confidence where people are willing to invest in an entrepreneurial way. But we're not prepared to do that. We're prepared to say, okay, why don't we just tax people more, make them pay more NIS, and again, short-termism. So I don't think that the minister in this budget, because it's probably he kicked the can down the road. He'll leave that for somebody else to make a decision on down the road, because that's going to be too political decision to make, either to increase the age limit or to increase that. And there has been pushback. For example, there were riots in France recently, as you may have read, where they looked to increase the age from 62 to 64. So those are things that require time. It requires consultation. It requires people buying in to it, because the longer, of course, you keep people in the workforce, the more, and you don't create opportunities. It means that, or you don't create an entrepreneurial environment for people to invest. The more you're going to keep young people out of the workforce, right? Because those jobs will not go by attrition. Young people are going to have to wait for another 3 and 4 years before they can get into the workforce. So there are a lot of issues relating to this that has to be discussed. So I don't think that the minister will want to take that decision, any decisions relating to that today.
Well, that's why we're going to have to leave it this morning, Vasan. We're going to have to leave it there this morning because we've run out of time. But thank you so much for joining us this morning and giving your expertise. And of course, we will be calling you post-budget to get your sense.
Oh, yes. You know that already.
All right. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot.
All the best. Thanks, Vasan. All the best to you.
All right. So this is where we wrap up the Power Breakfast Show this morning. 8 o'clock news is going to be a little late. So have a fantastic day, whatever you're doing. And of course, I'm reminding you that theater is on. Nikki Crosby is on, hot as AF, at Cipriani College on Saturday and Sunday. Tickets available at all the usual outlets, and of course at Cipriani College from Wednesday. And you can also buy it online from RSRR Productions Theatre. Check that Facebook page or Insta page for information how to do it online. And of course, this weekend you also have Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior at Naparima Bowl, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. And tickets are available at the Naparima Bowl from Wednesday. And of course, tickets are available at the outlets in South all now. Since last week, and I know tickets have been selling at K-Skirt Fashion, C3 Center, and Gulf City, Fens of Marabella by the Roundabout, and of course, Creme Fresh at Brentwood Mall in Chiconas, which is selling tickets for both events. So you can go there as your one-stop shop. Have a fantastic day. It is Monday. Put a smile on your face and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right. Of course, I ran away for just a bit. So folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Chat with you tomorrow morning. Folks, keep it locked on. Avia's here. I just want to tell you that the Pet Butler is now located on El Socorro Road, just 4 buildings from the Unipet gas station on the right-hand side if you're coming from the Quasi. Of course, we'll be open today. Yep. So we moved from Curep, Harris Street. So we are now on El Socorro